Howdy folks, how's it going? Hello, hello. Welcome, US Championships. We're watching round 7, just tuning in. Got Cross, hello Cross, how's it going? Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate all the return viewers for these streams. Hopefully you guys are enjoying watching US Championships. I mean, such a big tournament. I understand it's been marred a bit by the story, but still such a great event. Hopefully we can appreciate the chess. I just pulled up Mishra Shanklin here as the first game. Very interesting game. Looks like it was Rossalimo. And this is a very theoretical line. D4, A6. C5. Shanklin playing very dynamic. He's given white this d6 pawn. And yeah, positions like this for me are very difficult to evaluate because it looks like white's pawn is strong, but it's also blockaded, and black has a nice bishop on b7, so it's not really clear how strong this pawn really is. But one thing that I do know is that these positions are very difficult to play. Like, it's really very, very easy to blunder, like knight e5, and then you lose to a d7 fork, or knight b6, you lose to d7, or knight f6, you lose to d7. Basically, if you touch your knight, it's over in this position for black. So your knight is a mine. Do not touch your knight under any circumstance. But then you have to figure out, like, what to do, because at some point white might just lock in with e5 and not care about the knight on f3, just go e5 and put it all in on this d-pawn. I've seen some similar positions in the Grunfeld, and they're always very, very complicated for me to handle. So this will be an interesting one. Yeah, no worries, Cross, no worries. Glad you made it in for the beginning at least. Let's see, I also want to check out Sevi and Caruana. Let's run it back. So this one was Nimzo with bishop d2. This has been popular lately. I believe black is quite okay if they're well prepared, which Fabi, let's face it, usually is. But Sevian, of course, very aggressive, dangerous player, so e4. Okay, there he goes. Bishop e6. Fabi won a game earlier against Ray Robson in a similar position where Ray also pushed e4 and left himself with an isolated queen pawn. And eventually he had too many weaknesses. So here Sevian's really pushing it. h4, bishop e7. And this is the live position. So feels like white should definitely be okay. I don't think he's really in danger of being worse here. But the question is, can he get something against Fabi? Because so far Fabi has been basically invincible in this tournament. Like, he was in trouble in round 1 against Hans, and then that's basically it. It's just been all Fabi since then. But if you can put some pressure on him, maybe score a win, I mean, that would be pretty huge. But somehow it doesn't feel likely. It just seems like Fabi's playing too well. And his position looks pretty solid. Question, in general, do I like playing with IQP or against it? So personally, I like playing against the isolated queen pawn. I don't like having this weakness. In many positions, of course, it's totally fine and it's balanced. But yeah, in general, I prefer playing against it. I've always considered myself more of a positional player. Which is a bit of a defect, because I think ideally you would be able to handle both sides of the position with comfort. Though from what I've seen, I think most players do kind of have a preference one way or the other. So I don't think it's hugely important. But yeah, hopefully you don't like collapse every time you yourself have to handle an isolated queen pawn. Although personally for me, I don't have to do it too often. So you can kind of structure your repertoire so that you don't often get them. For example, by playing the King's Indian. I don't really get isolated queen pawns. I don't know why exactly, but I just don't seem to. Yeah, seems kind of fun for Sevian. But I realized maybe... Real quick, guys, what do you think of the overall layout? Is it okay? You got the clocks on the left side, then the board. This is fine. Is there some obvious improvement I can make? You guys let me know. But yeah, we'll see what Sevian comes up with. I mean, it to me, it doesn't look like such a huge... It doesn't seem like a huge advantage or anything. It just seems like a reasonable position. And right now, he does kind of have to account for queen takes d4 at least. Although I'm not even sure how much black wants to take this pawn. But still, it's maybe going to be hanging at some point. And what does he do? Because Fabi's last move is pretty clever. He's just stopping h5. Like, very simple prophylactic move, but I think not a move a lot of players would make, right? Just like bishop e7, just dropping back, stopping h5. Putting a little bit more pressure on d4. Maybe putting the bishop on f6. Oh, Merles has an idea. What about knight takes e6? Knight takes. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Rook takes. Pawn takes. Queen takes. I guess Fabi is saying that white doesn't have more than a draw here. Which may or may not be true, I don't really know. I could believe it to be true. Because black is one tempo away from kind of defending here. So it seems like, well, yeah, definitely at least a draw for white, absolutely. Interesting. How much time Fabi spent on bishop b7? It's not clear. But that seems like a pretty solid variation, right? 96, 96. Take, rook e6. I mean, queen d4 seems extremely risky. Bishop c3. Queen g4. It's bishop c3, queen g4. But I don't know. I would be very scared of this as black. Rook e4, rook a e1 to follow, then queen e2. You have pressure, big pressure on the e file. It could be just bad, right? Like, could be concretely just bad. So fe6, and then we have our perpetual check. The way you would try to not give perpetual is like some d5 move, but d5 bishop f6 I think kind of covers everything. You could also try like bishop h6. This is a typical way to try to set up mate, but I don't quite see it working here against bishop f6 again. And white might not even have a draw anymore. Now it might be losing. So my guess is if he went for this, he would have to make a draw with queen h5 or queen h6 is easier. Queen h5, you would be kind of tempting him to like try to like be a hero with king g7, try to get out of mate, but usually this just leads to disaster when you try to do this as black, and I think this might be one of those cases. This might be leading to mate. Here, for example, is one checkmate. Let's see, here, for example, is the second checkmate. Here, for example, could be a third issue. But here, check is check, or block. So if check, then block. And then if check, then move. Seems like white might have at least a draw there again, but I'm not sure if we have more. So here, maybe king h7 is not leading to immediate checkmate. Oh, wait, sorry. I found it. We have this one, right? And then this one. And then once again, here we have this. And then here, now we have this. And then this isn't exactly checkmate, but easy win. So, and then here we would have this. And here there's bishop h6. And then here there's bishop e5. Ooh, that's a nice mate. Okay, so that's a lot of checkmates. So queen h5, probably Fabi just repeats the position with king g8. I think that's the most likely. If we get all that. But Sevian, you know, he's kind of he's ambitious. Like, he doesn't just want to make draws. So I'm sure he sees this line. He probably calculated in 2 seconds because he's like a puzzle rush monster. He was like, oh, 96, but I'll take. Oh, I have at least a draw, okay. And yeah, now he's like looking for more. And it doesn't feel like white is risking a lot if he goes like, maybe like rook ad1 might be playable. Queen takes bishop c3, and you have a lot of play on the diagonal. I feel like there's probably something there, but I don't know, maybe you want to start with bishop e3. I think that would also be fine, and then go rook ad1. And seems like you could play on, but okay. We'll see what he does. Interesting moment. Let's see, who else should we check out? We can look at Mishra Shankland again. We have Ray Robson against Hans Niemann. Let's see what they're up to here on this day. e4, e5. Berlin defense, d3. Ray goes for one of the more interesting structures, d4. Trades on e5, f4. Zealand, hello, how's it going? Queen e2, rook d1, e5, knight b3. And Ray has managed to trade off black's bishop pair. But in general, black seems very, very solid, like really nice blockade for black. And yeah, okay, h5 just played. So black seems fine, but it seems about equal. So don't expect a lot of action on this board. Why is Ray down an hour? This is Ray Robson. He likes to spend lots of time in certain positions and think about stuff, figure out what to do. To his credit, you know, he plays really well when he's low on time. But, you know, as someone who is his friend and watches him play all the time, it is infuriating how much time he spends because he's always in time trouble. And it's just like, Ray, what are you doing? Move. Move. Just go queen f3. You know you're gonna play queen f3. Just do it. Like what are we thinking about here? Like improve the queen. Queen is going to f3. Maybe you're going rook d3. That's fine too, right? That's also fine. No problem, right? Maybe you're going king h. Okay, bishop f2. You know what? That came pretty quickly. Great. I mean, we have 16 minutes left. It's move 26. But yeah, I think position-wise, it's not that complicated that I think he's in huge trouble. But yeah, no, he does this a lot where he like just spends all of his time. It's not clear to me from the chess.com thing because their move times aren't accurate where he spent his time. But yeah, I would guess it was somewhere, you know, in the early middle game, middle game phase. So Ray up to his usual shenanigans. Mishra, by the way, just to catch you guys up, bishop c6 from Shanklin, so he's solidifying the blockading square. Rook a1, mysterious rook move from Mishra, maybe hinting at b4. Very mysterious move. Queen v6, and now bishop e7. So he's locked in. Shanklin definitely acting like b4 was a threat, but is White's rook so good on a1? To me, this move doesn't smell right, because I feel like White's rooks belong on d1 and e1. Like, that looks good. I feel like he had it right. But of course, this is Abhimanyu Mishra we're talking about. You know, he's pretty good at chess. Yeah, Zealand, doing well. By the way, shout out to Twitch, shout out to YouTube. Chess Dojo is a multi-platform streaming partner. We are a equal opportunity streaming service provider. Alex Ross says they remember watching 10-year-old Sevian playing Blitz and beating Ayam Greg Shahadi, and now he's in the U.S. Championships. Fun fact, I was at that camp. That was at the U.S. Chess School, and I was attending as a student. I was maybe 16 years old. Sevian was 10. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember watching that game live because Greg was doing this thing where he was trying to beat everyone in the camp in Blitz. I'm not sure why exactly, maybe just to assert dominance as usual. And then all of a sudden he was playing Sevian and he like blundered a rook on move 4 or something. So it started to like, oh, I'm beating him. So we all came over and of course had to see it because Greg, he was strong. You know, he was stronger than all of us. He was, you know, at that point. So it was a big game. It was a big game. Yeah. Hey, we got Jake. Hello, Jake. How are you? So bishop e7. Okay, this one hard to judge. I feel like bishop f8 is coming at some point from black. It's just hard to move around this bishop on e7, d6. But Shanklin has a lot of time. He'll figure it out. Let's see, any other games? Interesting. Oh, c4. Oh, okay, Sam. Sam knows how to push pawns. He wrote a whole book on how pushing pawns leads to improvement, or at least that's how I understood it. Pass pawns lead to chess. Pushing pawns leads to chess improvement. Always push pawns. Push pawns first, ask questions later. No, but this looks smart because he's got like knight c5, knight d3, knight b3. He's gotten some good squares for his knight. This seems like a very nice move, actually, in terms of the pawn play. He just has to make sure on knight c5 that white doesn't get some d7 in. But I don't think white does. Even if white goes rook d1, knight c5, d7, you can just go knight takes d7, yeah? It seems like black is fine. Yeah, this looks pretty annoying. I mean, I don't know. Often I like the space, but maybe this is nice for black. Like, white can go e5, knight c5. Or an e5? No, actually, e5 you probably take and go queen c6. I don't think you can take right away because there's going to be rook e5 ideas. Okay, maybe this works anyway because the rook takes e7. The main point was here d7, and then white wins the full rook and should be up a piece in the end. But maybe on rook takes e5, there's rook takes e7. Let's say white goes de, bishop takes e5. This looks okay for black. Looks like he's going to pick up the pawn. So on e5, maybe even takes on e5 is working, but you can also just take with the bishop actually. And so, yeah, I can't imagine this is good for white. So there's definitely not going to be any e5. Oh, Sevian took on e6. Oh, okay. So is he forcing a draw or he found something devilish? Let's see. I'm guessing he's forcing the draw, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I guess one thing I didn't say is white could also pick up the e-pawn with check and continue the perpetual. But I don't know if this gives any extra options for white, because there's still bishop f6 coming to defend quickly. Maybe rook e1. Okay, let's say I go rook e1. How do you guys defend this? This actually looks very dangerous for black. Queen d6, I would go rook e6. And unless black has something here, it's really bad because white is about to have three pieces in the attack. Or here and here. I think there is a move. I think bishop f8 feels like it's holding because you challenge the e-file, you don't let the rook get in. And it doesn't seem like white's in time. Like white needs like a move and a half basically to win the game with bishop g5 or bishop f4, but feels like we're not in time. I don't know, maybe we could try this, but yeah, definitely don't believe at all. Yeah. Or queen c7 check. Yeah, even cleaner. And bishop comes to g7 and black is up 2 rooks. 2 rooks is a lot, even if your name is Samuel Sevian. Rook take. Interestingly, Fabi's thinking here. So I guess he's looking for a bailout option. I feel like maybe he's not super comfortable with this. Like if he thinks white has maybe more than a draw, or he's looking for... Maybe he's looking for a way to keep the game going somehow. Bishop takes h4. But it's so risky, right? Because you're still allowing rook takes g6. Feels like anyway white is going to have perpetual if white wants. Queen d6 check. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Good point. So he's thinking about something. Bishop f6, maybe? Just to keep the game going. But you're down a pawn on bishop f6, right? You're down a pawn. Okay, so it's not like it's not like you can just keep. So I don't think it's going to be bishop f6. Bishop takes h4, d5. Then queen takes d5 maybe. Oh, he took on h4. Wow. Well, but I'm not sure if it's because fe6 white had something there, or if here he just thinks it's like a better option. I'm not sure, because it seems like white can still make a draw, but maybe he does go to f8, because he does have king f8, because this isn't immediate checkmate like it was in the other line. But it still feels super dangerous for black to try to avoid the perpetual here. Like there's bishop b4. If bishop e7, then this is a perpetual check. This is easy. And maybe white has more, but that's not what we're worried about. For white, like we just want to find at least a draw. But if rook e7, you just take the bishop and then you're only down. Oh, hold on. Well, you can't exactly take the bishop because there's going to be some rook e1. But if the king is on e8, then rook e1's not working. If the king's on f7, so it's very, very concrete. But I feel like white's safe. So king f7 we can't take because of rook e1 check. But we can give this check. And I don't really see how black is getting out of the perpetual. And then if black goes here, then white can take. There's no rook e1. And white has two pawns for the exchange with a much safer king. So, like, positionally at this point, white is just much better. Like, black needs multiple moves to get the king safe, and then black might equalize. But here I would think white is basically winning. We're threatening to just be up 2 pawns in the endgame. And yeah, black's king just looks insanely weak, for example. And GG. Okay, rook g6 on the board. Let's go. Let's see some fireworks. So takes. So I'm guessing Fabi is just going here, and we're just going to see a draw. Because this seems unnecessary. Yeah, there's also other options for white. So I was just looking to see if white can force a draw minimum, like just to show that king f8 has no useful relevance. But this might be even better for white. Like, I don't know if it's winning. It's hard to say, but this might be a better option. Queen d7. Okay, they're blitzing out moves, so they're definitely repeating. They are definitely repeating. But that wasn't for Sam. That was for Fabi to choose if he wants to risk it with king f8. But there's no real upside there because I think it's pretty clear white has at least a draw. So yeah, they're repeating. And they're making a draw, and now someone's awkwardly calling over the arbiter, like, hey, can we please try? Because there's this funny no draw offers rule, and they were very clear, like even if you guys have repeated like 20 times, you have to call the arbiter and like make sure that like we confirm that there's a repetition. So there's gonna be a moment, but yeah, the draw is gonna be accepted on the board shortly. I mean, okay, technically they didn't repeat yet. So he went here once, so they repeated once. So they're not there. If bishop c3, I guess bishop f6. And I think there's no real upside there for white. Does a draw help Caruana or hurt him? I would say a draw with black is a perfectly fine result for him. Yeah, he's leading by a half point over one person, a full point over others. So a draw with black, I think, yeah, is basically fine. I would say it's like a decent result. Like, no reason to complain. Yeah, it's very slow, the Rook D1, Rook D3 plan. Okay, that's 3. So they're definitely gonna end the game. Okay, so draw. Let's see here, Mishra. C4 played by Shanklin, Rook AD1, so the Rook went back. And now E5. So Shanklin is not even touching the knight. He's like, I'm not even giving you a hint of D7. You're not even getting a taste, not even essence of D7, my friend. I'm going A5 and then you're getting B4. That's what's happening next. And then B3. So pretty interesting. Somehow it's starting to feel unpleasant for white. Like, it's more obvious what black is doing than what white is doing. Because, like, what's white doing? You can't really go E5. We have no crazy jumps. H4, H5 maybe, but then maybe black just goes H5. Yeah, it doesn't feel nice for white. Where's the knight going after B4? And black just has this perfect, like, Benoni kind of majority going. Shanklin's like 2750 when it comes to, pawn play. He's very good. Very good with the pawns. He probably knows very well, like, this pawn can only go here. This pawn can only go here. It can't go back. Neither can this one, by the way. This one can't move at all unless something comes to one of these squares, then it could take. This one can move up 1 or 2 squares. And then if it moves up 2, then this one could take once like that. So he's very aware of all these nuances. And he's definitely looking at this move. Just to give you guys, a little taste into the mind of the super GM. Bishop G5. The thing is, Mishra spent a lot of time bringing the bishop to E7. So bringing it back to E3, I mean, possible, might be the thing to do, but yeah, okay. That definitely shows that white's position is not so great. And anyway, B4 is coming. So what are we doing about B4? Maybe takes knight E2. And like bishop B5. Yeah, it's not clear if the bishop on E7 is well placed or not. It really isn't. Ray Robson. What is going on? Ray, didn't he have like, how much time did he have when we watched him like a second ago? Didn't he have like 16 minutes? And it was move like 26. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. All right, so bishop f2. What happened there? Rook d5. c4, rook d8. Queen e1. Bishop b4. Queen e2. Oh, okay, huge moves. Huge decisions. Bishop e7 and c... Right, you're down an hour on the clock. You're playing c5. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I would like to know why we're doing this. What's the plan now? We just gave a pawn. Queen c4? No, queen c2. And we're hoping to one day maybe get our pawn back. Now Hans can like play rook d5 again, rook d8. Yeah, I think Ray just doesn't like his friends, and he just doesn't like it when his friends are supporting him. No, I'm sure he's probably pushing very hard to win in what I would guess is objectively equal position. So that often leads you to do risky things. Sometimes it works. I mean, last year he beat Hans in this game where he trapped Hans's queen very nicely. So that was cool. But somehow I feel like this is a very comfortable position for black. I don't know. King comes to f7, rook d5, rook d8. You just have all the squares for your pieces. Okay, 5 minutes for Ray. Mishra, by the way, went knight e2. So he's improving the knight. Also, he's kind of saying that on b4 you got to watch out for queen takes c4. I don't know if that's true because there's bishop a4 winning the exchange. So b4 could be played right now. And then from the ideas from there, it could even be like c3 takes b3, or c3 takes b takes a3, and getting some very strong queenside pass pawn. So, yeah, I have a feeling Shanklin's going to play this one ambitiously. Hello, Farno. Yes, if you have, or others have questions about dojo stuff, dojo training program, recommendations, I am here for you. Feel free to shoot. I also want to, okay, let me check out women's games. Wanted to see this game with Carissa and Nazi, and whoa, what a position. Yeah, earlier I thought Nazi was doing quite fine out of the open. Let's see, it was Carol Khan, and it was like h4, queen b6, h5, and white plays c3, bishop d3, but I don't think this is, doesn't seem that scary for black, like queen e3, and looks fine. So knight e2, c5, knight e2, knight e7, a3, knight f5, takes rook c8, g4, and knight takes d4. Ooh, she popped on d4 like a true French player. This is like a classic French sacrifice. Takes, knight takes e5. You get 2 pawns. You get knight d3 check. Looks very scary for white first glance, but you never know. Bishop c5, rook h3. Check. Knight b3. Knight takes f2. Ooh, she sacked the second piece. Queen takes, and now e5. So black is down 2 pieces for 3 pawns. Probably she's getting a third piece back. And the question is she getting, or a second, 1 piece back. The question is she getting a second? But yeah, she's starting like bishop takes d4, and then maybe queen takes b3, but rook is here. So bishop d4, and then, okay, then she has 3 pawns for the piece. And if black can just like get the rook in, then very, very bad for white, because you're like, white's just playing down a bunch of pieces. So on rook e3, there's bishop takes d4. So there's no rook e3. Bishop e3. Yeah, it definitely seems like a move. Maybe takes. And does black have anything there? So bishop e3. Take. I don't see anything. So that might be saving Carissa. Did she have to take on f2? Knight takes c1, rook c1. Castles, maybe? Not sure. I'm not sure. Very complicated position. So hard to figure out. So take e5. Yeah, so bishop e3, maybe black castles. Because if you move the knight, you're still losing this with check. So your knight is still stuck. So castle is probably a better move. Yeah. Queen f5 could be an idea for sure, because that hits the rook and the pawn. Queen f5 might be a problem. Queen f5, castles, queen takes e5, rook e8. And then still seems very dangerous for white. If you take on d5, then rook d8, and then black is winning one piece back on d4, king is still very open. So queen f5, castles, takes rook e8. Queen f4 maybe, but then rook e4. Where did Nazi use all of her time? I'm not sure. When I scroll, it doesn't tell me. Probably somewhere around the sacrifice. like maybe here already, rook c8. She was already spending a lot of time. Yeah, definitely feels like a strong sack, but I don't know if she played it correctly. Oh, queen f5. Okay, castle's on the board. So we're in tune with the players. We're in tune with what the players are thinking. Very cool. Now I'm guessing we'll see queen takes e5, unless Carissa thinks she can like play for, because maybe g5, like this actually is totally a candidate move. Unless Carissa thinks she can mate black with g5, g takes h6. Just like give one knight back, but get counterplay. So g5, ed4, gh6. And then white's still a piece up and has threats like hg, rook g3, and so on. So we might see g5. Bishop takes d4, g takes h6. And somehow, yeah, this rook on h3 is doing work. Jake saying she spent a good chunk before the sack in terms of time. Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe it wasn't a good sacrifice. I definitely think black's position was out of the opening. Looked very nice, even around here, but maybe she just needed to bring the knight back to c6 and play more of a French. But yeah, it's always hard. I don't know. Really tough to say. Optically, it looks pretty scary. Yeah, there's no knight f4 because of take, rook f3. Oh, Carissa made a different move. She went for knight c2. Okay, seems a little materialistic. Not gonna lie. Seems a little materialistic. But, you know, this is Carissa Yep we're talking about. She's 6 out of 6. She's like 15 out of 17, which I don't know if that was from the Olympiad or from the last US Championships. And she's one of the strongest players like in the world. So I don't know. Maybe she knows what she's doing. But to me, it feels a little materialistic because I don't know. I was really digging this g5 line. Jake's idea, bishop takes h6 and then g5 might be good too. Might be good too, for example. Because we're threatening here and then we're very close to mating. Like check takes and then almost mating. So to me, this looks super, super scary. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe takes, for example. Let's say take. I'll try rook c6 as a defense. Check here. Check here. Oh, wait. Sorry. There's this one, right? And then white's up a full rook. And so same thing on bishop e7, there's queen g4. So queen g4 is a huge problem. So let's say, well, what are you going to do? This is also a huge problem. Okay, how about bishop takes d4 and then e4? Yeah, better suggestion. Do we see any win here? This looks less clear. Okay, so yeah, bishop h6 might be too much. This might be good though. I don't know. Let's see if take here. If rook moves, h6, h7 looks pretty scary. If bishop takes g3. I don't know. It doesn't look too obvious, but I feel like Carissa, she would have been able to figure it out, you know? Anyway, she goes knight c2. She's unbothered. And now d4 from black. So yeah, that's the issue of knight c2. You give black time for as these pawns are scary. But it is two pieces for white. Okay, I was thinking, okay, maybe she'll trade, but no, g5. Now she's going g5. So, yeah, big problems for black's king. It feels like black's not in time. Unfortunately for her. Seems like white is faster here because it's hard to see where the play is coming from. d3, rook d3, rook d8. Still not totally threatening d3 yet, so it just takes on h6. So Carissa might be on her way to 7 out of 7. Man, she's playing for the Fisher Prize. You know, they're giving... It's like $64,000 if she goes 11-0. So if she wins this, which still okay is a question, but if she wins this, then she has to play Atusa, Megan Lee, Anna Zatonsky, and then Alice Lee in the final round. I don't think she's making it to Alice Lee with 10-0. I don't know. I'm just gonna say, I don't think she's good, but like I just believe in just the laws of chess. Someone will make a draw, like rook endgame. And also like she's gonna clinch the tournament in like one or two rounds with like draws. So at some point she's just gonna clinch the tournament. It'll be fun to see her go for 11-0, but yeah. Anyways, this one not totally over actually, because d3, if rook there's still there's e4. If the rook moves, there's gonna be check. The rook moves on the d file, then you lose b3. So this feels like I would mess this up as white. Let me just put it that way. I would still mess this up. I don't know about you guys. You guys probably play perfect chess. You like never make mistakes. Like that's great for y'all. But I would probably mess this up as white. Exciting game. Hard to look away. Let's see. We got Jennifer Yu against Irina Krush. That one is still more or less balanced. Tatev Black against Talia. That one was a Nimzo. Also kind of balanced. Maybe more balanced for Black. Takes e4. Yeah. Okay. And now... what's Carissa going to do? Knight c5, rook c5, queen c5, e takes d3. And there's queen g4 check. White's king is still rather open. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Like when you know your opponent wants a draw, because there's multiple cases where this can happen. The Fisher Prize is pretty rare. Pretty rare that someone's in contention for a Fisher Prize like this. But there are cases where someone might need a draw to, let's say, just clinch the tournament or to get a norm. In that case, like it can be smart to kind of play a bit more solid against them, knowing that, or not if they need a draw, if they need a win, right? They need a win to win the tournament or get a norm, then it makes sense to play solid against them, knowing that they're going to have to take risk. If you know they need a draw, then it makes sense to play risky against them, knowing that they're likely to accept the draw, even if things don't work out for you. Okay, so question is, can Carissa keep her material? Can Carissa keep her material with rook c3, rook check, king e1, bishop d2, maybe some e3. Maybe rook c3 here and white is fine. Or maybe rook g3 to just place the rook ready for a counterplay, because black has a check, but white's going to e1, maybe f1. It seems like black, is running out of coordination. Nazi's trying though. Nazi's trying. You can tell she wants to mate Carissa. She would have nothing. She would like nothing more. Yeah. Okay. So Carissa seems to be on top. We'll see. Let's check in with the open. Ray down to 2 minutes, of course. Move 34. It's not like you lose, if you run out of time, guys. So don't worry about that. It's not like you get a 0 for the game if your clock runs out. It's not like that's how that works. So c4 takes king f7, bishop e1, bishop h4, rook b8, rook d3. Okay. So he at least got his pawn back. Hans decided to do a grandmaster sack and give him the pawn back. And actually things have changed a bit, because hold on, he got like bishop h4 and then Hans didn't play bishop e7. He went rook b8. But that kind of gives up the d file because now white has this obvious plan of like rook d1 and rook d7 check, which maybe will lead to something, you know, like maybe not. Maybe like it takes white a bunch of moves to try to get in, and then black can like easily counter with bishop f8. Rook c3 played by Carissa. Okay, nice. So Carissa trying to be up 2 knights. Rook b4. Wow. Hans saying, I am the one who knocks. Will Ray submit with a move like... Well, how does he submit here? Because rook c3, bishop d4, rook c1. Okay, so does he submit with rook c1? Or does he challenge with rook d1? That's the question. Bye, Cross. We'll see you. Thanks for hanging out. Who has the better bishop? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, black's bishop looks nice. White's bishop also looks nice. Technically, black's bishop has more squares in its viewpoint. Oh, and Ray says, I ain't nobody's assistant. And goes rook ad1. Nice. He's like, I ain't nobody's fool. So he wants rook d7 check. Interesting. So takes, check, king moves. And then some queen b3 pin. And that looks unpleasant for black because queen is under attack. 7th rank is hanging. There's queen b7. Rook d8 check as well if he needs. Okay. Scary. Scary. Don't mess with Ray when he's got low time. He'll still find moves and attack you. Let's see. We got Mishra. Ooh, developments here. Knight d4, b4. So Sam just pushing the queen side. Now e5. Okay. That's a nice construction. I like this for Mishra because now he's saying, I don't care about bishop f3. I have knight f3 and everything's fine. And he's blocked off Sam's bishop on g7. Okay. Guys, I'm updating my eval. I'm now saying that white is fine. Earlier, I was thinking white's worse. I no longer think that. I now think white's fine. Please don't write in the papers that I thought white was worse. I think white's okay. Now, is white better? That's tough to say because, okay, how do you progress? You still have this h4 thing. Black goes h5. And will we be able to organize like a queen d2, knight g5 attack? Maybe. Queen d2, knight g5 would be very strong. Queen d2, queen f4, and then knight g5. So maybe Mishra is even pushing to be better here. h4. Well, Parn also in time trouble. Yeah, Mishra's 15. Very impressive. Very impressive. Okay, let me keep an eye on Ray's game. Rook takes c4 played. Hans is like, I am the one who knocks. Now we're waiting on rook d7 check. Oh, queen b3 first. Was he afraid of rook d7, king e8? But then queen b3 anyway, you're not. I don't know. Okay, rook e8, Hans was ready for that. He defends the queen, so now he can move the rook. Rook takes f4, for example. is threatened. If check, king is going to g8. Is there bishop f6? Check, king f8. So king g8 most likely. But can Ray get something going on the 7th rank? Rook takes b7, queen b7. Ideas. Yeah, they're going to get an extra 30 minutes in 2 moves. They have 2 moves to make until the time control. So it's move 38. After move 40, they get extra 30 minutes. What about queen g3 now? Queen g3 could be an idea because you have this huge bishop f6 threat. So queen g3 could be really strong, actually. Or to come in like queen g5, queen h6, queen g7 checkmate. Or bishop f8, queen h7 checkmate. Okay, starts with bishop f6, but I think this is a huge threat now. Because if you play queen g3, that's mate. So rook takes f4, queen g3. That's mate. That's mate. You guys understand? So this is looking very scary for Hans. And if he doesn't figure this out in literally like 1 move, Ray gets an extra 30 minutes on the clock to find queen g3 checkmate. And Ray doesn't need that much time. He needs 0 seconds because he has already seen queen g3. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe black has a defense here, like bishop f2. But bishop f2 is like an unbelievable move, like queen f3. And then what do you do if you move the bishop away? Queen, like rook c2, but is that really how we're gonna hold this? It looks unbelievable. But might be winning for Ray. That would be a big win. Hans hasn't lost the game yet. This would be his first. And last year Ray beat Hans as well with that sick queen trap where Hans blundered. So Ray has Hans's phone number, and he's been texting him or something because he's kind of doing well. Yeah, and he has this other idea, by the way. Rook g7 check, king here, and then second rook to d7, and then rook h7, rook h8. Checkmate. I mean, bishop f8 would be like a defensive move normally, but queen g3, and there's no good solution there. Wow. And you guys, we felt it when Ray got this bishop h4, and I was like, he's giving up the d file. That seems very dangerous. And look at this. White just has this like beautiful attacking formation. Feels like it's very nice for white. Like he should be able to get in somehow. Maybe h4 is a try for black. Just trying to buy some time. Bishop takes h4. I don't believe it, but you know, maybe it's what you have to try. And then rook takes f4. Yeah, Ray should win. See, this is classic Ray. That's how he gets you. He uses all this time, and you're like, okay, what's he doing? He's gonna flag, and then he like turns on his spider sense and starts playing all the best moves. And now all of a sudden, bishop is on f6, rook is on d7, queen is coming in next move, and you're like, how could I let this happen to me? You're just like, how could I let this happen? So yeah, monster play from Ray. Now Hans is thinking, but now it might be too late. Now it might be too late. Bishop f2, yeah, I just don't believe in it. Queen f3. And then what are we doing? Rook c2. It's like, ugh. Rook g7 check, let's say, from there. King f8. Rook d7. And then we've got a threat. Got rook h7, rook h8. Yeah. No, it's a real Monka-S position. Rook takes f4. Okay, he found something tricky. So Hans found a trick. Hold on. Queen g3? What he's playing? What does he want on queen g3? Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. How could... no, he must have an idea. How could it be just a bluff? Hold on. Let me check the broadcast. Is Hans currently shaking his head terribly? Hold on. What happened? Oh, they're watching the game. Imagine that. Imagine that. He took on f4, and then Ray was confused. And then he plays queen, he looks for 20 seconds. He doesn't see defense to queen g3. He plays it. And then they're not showing Hans's face, which is bad judgment. Bad judgment. Oh, he's got queen takes d7. Oh. But does that work? No, that's not working. There's queen g6. Check. 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 And mate. That's a good idea, though. That's a very nice idea, but it doesn't work. And you just resign. Resignation. I want to see it on tape. Dang, he's going to be upset. Wow. Wow. Well, you saw it here. You saw it here. Ray. And he looks unbothered after winning. I get it. You want to like show seriousness. You don't want to be all giddy. Oh, but there's a smile. There's a little smile. He smiled. Okay, good job, Ray. Nice game. Let's jump to Mishra. Because he went e5, b3, now queen c1. Guys, I apologize. There was questions I missed. Let me just go back. I do apologize because I didn't mean to skip over the questions. Ferno was asking, for tactics, would you recommend completing all the Polgar maiden twos and only then moving to tactics from scratch, or do you feel they fill different roles and should be worked through simultaneously? Yeah, simultaneously is the way to go for that one. So you can do Polgar maiden twos and tactics for scratch. From scratch at the same time. Sorry it took me forever to answer this. What is my opinion on John Nunn's puzzle book? I haven't gone through it, but in general I do like John Nunn's stuff. Also, I thought he had a couple of books, or is there only one? Did he only do one, or is there like a famous one in particular? If I missed any other questions, folks, I apologize. There is a question from Sushan. What to do when the line suggests an opening courses lead to only a slight edge, but you want to play a rich game to play for win to win tournaments? What you have to realize is you need to find positions that are equal or only tiny plus for white that suit your style, whether you're an attacking player or more strategic player. basically you have to understand that black also has a right to play chess, and if they know their openings well, then they are going to equalize. But if you know your openings even better, you can at least find lines that lead to interesting positions. But objectively, they are going to be equal positions. It's just you have to find the positions that you feel like you're more capable of playing than your opponents, whether those are like attacking positions with e4 or more strategic positions with d4. What would Jesse say to see Hans resign with 58 minutes on his clock? He would say, Hans, buddy. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy says, this is literally my favorite form of commentary. Okay, he didn't say literally. I added that in. Strong player, just casually watching, giving thoughts, no engine. Yes. You're welcome. I've heard the chess tactics from scratch puzzles being very difficult. I feel like we need to review whether those should be even made necessary or not. Because, yeah, I heard they were very hard compared to the rest of the book. Average Joe is asking, how do you explain Rose Atwell being so bad at tactics? As a 15-year-old, you would think that would be an area of strength. She's also over 100 points off her peak. Yeah, I don't know if I would agree with the question that she's bad at tactics. I was actually thinking she's pretty good at tactics. But in terms of the rating thing, yeah, that's quite common for lots of players to go up and down. Like get to a certain level, then go down, then work your way back up. Chess can be a bit volatile in that case, but that's very common, especially for junior players. So I would say that's actually very, very typical to have growth spurts and then periods of stagnation and then back to growth spurts. Why that happens, I'm not totally sure. I can imagine it's because, as you're a junior, you're going very quickly, but it doesn't mean like your results might still have some volatility to them, especially if you're like a very sharp and aggressive player, and maybe you're trying different things and you're trying different openings and they don't always work out for you, so you might drop some points, but over time, the trend is going up, of course. Oh, by the way, it looks like Awonder Liang defeated Grigory Oparin with some tactics. Awonder has been having quietly a very, very nice tournament. He's now up to a 4 out of 6. So what happened here? So Queen H5, Queen G6, Knight E5, Knight C1, and boom! Rook takes D3. Wow. He could have taken with the knight too, but Rook D3 might be stronger. So boom, Rook D3, Queen F2, Queen takes E4, takes another pawn. Bishop G5, tries to attack some stuff. Boom, Rook takes H3. Oh, that hurts. King G1. Let's not even ask what happens on this, because let's not. Okay, I guess Knight F3 check. It's not that hard, but King G1, Queen G2. Oh, painful. Takes. HG5, and then White's just down 4 pawns. Okay, he gets to C5 in. But Rook C3 and resigns. I guess on takes, you just take here. If takes, you take here, and you're stuck way too much. Wow, nice game from Awonder. Oh, and Shankland, look at this. Queen C5, Queen F4, and Rook takes E7. He's tired of it, but he knew he was going to have to give this exchange sooner or later, because Knight G5 was on the agenda. Maybe H6 he could have played, but he decides just to give it up right away. So takes, I guess he takes, and tricky position. Maybe it's better for White, because maybe Knight B5, Knight D6. I'm not sure. What do I think about what Kramnik is saying these days? What is Kramnik saying these days? Because I actually am not keeping up. It's been too much. It's just been too much. The boy has cried wolf too much for me. So I'm not following. Look at her game where she missed queen h1. Isn't that a blunder? Or how would I explain queen h2? I'm not sure exactly what game you're talking about, but I would imagine she blundered. You know, it happens. I mean, it's a very tough tournament. Let me just say that. Like, U.S. Championship, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of cameras. So like, it's hard. Like, I mean, there's a lot of blunders throughout the event, not just, I mean, the Open as well. So I don't know. But I don't really know Rose's chess very well, so it'd be hard for me to give any kind of explanation. From what I've seen watching her for a couple of years, she's been improving with every tournament. Like, she's played a couple of U.S. Junior Championships. She was very close in the latest one. She did well. And yeah, so. And I feel like so far she, like, her first game, I think she beat Kostya. I thought that was a very nice game. Oh, going after Danya? But has he actually accused Danya? Because Kramnik, he's always like, oh, I didn't accuse anyone, of course. No, I never accuse. He's always like, no, I never accuse. So has he officially accused Danya? Because just because he makes like 10 videos on someone going through their games and showing how their games like match up with like computer moves and how like their moves don't make sense unless he's like checking the engine. Just because you make like a bunch of videos showing that doesn't mean like you're like formally accusing anyone. So let's just get that clear. So has he formally accused Danya, or did he just make a bunch of videos where he insinuates that Danya's using the engine? I'm just trying to clarify because I'm not clear. Like, was there an official, or was it? Because he's always like, no, but of course, no, I never, no. He has not accused him. Okay, I see. Pretty much everything. So okay, he did. Yeah, I saw the Charlotte Chess Center thing. It was like a Blitz Elo farm. That was funny. I don't really see it like that. I see it more as, you know, like, it's good that they're in the community playing Blitz against like locals. Like, that's how I see it. But okay, you know, it's all good. We got different opinions. So no, I mean, with the Kramnik thing is very sad because it's like, I don't think he's wrong in the greater sense that there's a lot of like cheating, especially in online chess. Like, I think he's very correct on that like bigger point. It's just when he accuses all these like specific people without clear evidence, it kind of just ruins the believability of every single other claim, you know? Because he was posting about Faustino Oro at one point. He was like, oh, this kid's so impressive. And so it's like, so when Kramnik's impressed with you, he like invites you to like a friendly match to test your skills. And so far, the people he's invited to a match were Jaspam, Faustino, and Danya, right? And so neither of those three was he accusing, right? So neither of those three. He's just so impressed with their play. He just wants to see it for himself in person to examine it. He's just so impressed. I don't know. It's just hard to believe. Like, yeah, no. I mean, it's very transparent. You can't like spend 40 hours a week complaining about cheating.com, Cheating Tuesday, like all this stuff. And then you're like, oh, Faustino Oro, what an impressive kid. No, but of course, I'm not accusing him of anything. It's like, okay, all right, sure, sure. Is C3 a consideration here from Black's point of view? Yeah, absolutely. That's one of Black's major ideas, I would say. Apologies for the disruption. I would say this is one of black's major ideas in the position, trying to find a favorable way to get c3 in. And seeing if you can create something with the breakthrough. But it's hard to imagine without this bishop being opened up. If this pawn was somehow off the board, then for sure. But right now yeah, it's very risky, because also the risk for black is if you open things up too quickly, of course, white has an extra rook in the position, which one day might land on your back rank. Yes, we gotta be careful. Though Mishra down to 7.5 minutes, so Shankland likely feeling optimistic here. And by the way, he's been playing very well this tournament, Shankland. Like he caught some unlucky breaks. Like he should have won against Dominguez. He had some other chances, but against Levon, I don't think he should have lost. He kind of blundered. So he's playing well. It's always nice, like even if the result isn't going your way, if you feel like you're playing well, that should hopefully give you some confidence. Thank you, Average Joe. Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like, okay, I can do pretty good. Kramnik. I was doing Faruja earlier. Can do a pretty good Wesley So. So I'm slowly adding to my repertoire. Jan says it's right to be paranoid / upset at all the cheating in chess. It's just weird that he's mainly fighting the battle against whoever he happens to lose to online. Yeah, right. So it's just hard to give it a lot of credence, because you get flagged by some random person and then there's like, oh, this guy must be a cheater. It must be a cheater. It's like, no, you don't know that actually. And so yeah, it's like, yes, there's a lot of cheating online, but that doesn't mean every single person that you suspect must be cheating. It's just like, that's just not how you do things. You can't. It's literally like what a witch hunt is. It's just like accusing like any random person that's like slightly even remotely suspicious for any reason, and then just like hunting them down, and then like analyzing their games, and then like, oh, they reacted like this, they must be cheating. Oh, they didn't react like this, they must be cheating. Like there's no winning. Carissa, did she win? Carissa did win. Wow. Game over. Let's just see what happened, because we were watching this game for a bit. So yeah, we saw d3 takes e4, rook c3, check, bishop d2, e3 takes this one. Man, Carissa just taking everything. Bishop d4, queen g4. Nice move with the pin. F5 takes. I do love how much material Nazi gave up in this game. Like she really just gave it all. she just gave absolutely everything. So takes, queen check, very important move, because this one was hanging otherwise. Takes, and 2 pieces is too much. And now, yeah, white's king is safe, h6, and yeah, time to resign, because takes, you lose the rook. So Carissa 7 out of 7. Alice Lee lost. Wow, okay, that's a big result actually, because Alice was doing quite well. But somehow she lost control over this position. Takes, f3. Queen takes f3. She might have blundered that. Takes, and white was just up a piece. Because f3, this is kind of a nice trick, and then if takes take, you win the game. But okay, even here, if she plays queen f1, oh yeah, then you got this one maybe, and this one, and this would be, no, but here white also wins. So I don't know, queen f1, I'm just, maybe this was also good for white, but queen takes f3 is easier. So Alice unfortunately lost. Begum wins as well. Oh, wow. What happened here? Oh, Begum cracked the rose with a knight takes g2. Oh, and rook a6. Okay, this is always like sick when it happens. Like you sack a piece and then you just follow with like slow quiet move, and it's like good luck. Good luck dealing with rook g6. Jeez, queen d7. Very nice attack by Begum. I mean, sometimes she just plays like so strong. Most times, actually. Most times. Wow. Okay, fantastic game. Still some more games going on here. Talia against Tatev and Jennifer Irina also. So, okay, lots of games still happening. What's going on here? Take rook c1, rook c5, a4, h6. So, okay, we're seeing, just slow moving positional exchange sacrifice from Shankland. He might even try to win this pawn one day, though that looks hard, but objectively, I don't know. I would think I would probably want to take black's position, although probably white should be fine. What do I think about the future for Chris Yu? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it was really bad. I think we're still kind of reacting to it. So we'll see. I hope he is able to somehow come back. Because I don't want to just never see him again. But what he did was very serious. So obviously there has to be a big reaction to it. But yeah, I think he's young enough that he could totally come back. But yeah, we just did the podcast earlier about that topic, as well as the big, of course, Shevchenko case. So that'll be up on YouTube sometime in a couple of days, probably. H4 from Mishra. So he's like, I also know how pawns move. Sam Shankland, I read your book. And he's looking for maybe H5, maybe just to restrict black, just not to allow black any kind of G5 ideas. It's like, don't even think about G5. Sam Shankland. And Sam's like, I'll think about it if I want to. Maybe knight f8, G5 takes knight G6. No, I don't buy it. Don't buy it. So what does black do? Can black actually push here, or is black just sitting? Because you have like a million moves. Bishop D5. You can just sit and wait, but is black actually going to do something at some point? Like knight B6, go after the A pawn, for example, take the A pawn, bring the knight back, A4, and then you got 2 pawns, then we're in business. Or maybe he wants to improve the knight, like knight B6, knight D5, knight B4, knight D3. Okay, if he gets 4 moves, that's going to be painful for white. So maybe knight B6, knight D5. What's Mishra doing on this one? Oh, this might be like really bad for white, actually. Because if white is just not doing anything and black just gets to bring the knight to b4 and knight to d3, okay, you can shuffle your pieces around so you don't lose the exchange. But the knight is coming to d3. E-pawn will be under attack. Knight on d4 is going to be loose. b2 is going to... Okay, you can put your rooks on b1, d1, but still. Doesn't look fun for white. Will Krista play chess professionally after school? I hope so. I mean, the thing about Krista Yip, like she was a long time prodigy. Many years ago, Krista Yip used to be, what we now refer to as Alice Lee, right? Like she was like this very up and coming, very, very promising young star, young talent. And then at some point, like she just slowed down a little bit. Okay, like she went to like Stanford and like all this stuff. So she slowed down a little bit, but still she won 2 U.S. championships and got to like 2450 or so FIDE. And hopefully she continues, because now clearly feels like she's made a jump back up. So hopefully she continues to play and tries to go for it. Clearly, I mean, she has huge capabilities. Okay, bishop d5 from Sam, completing completing the structure. Yeah, this is a nice structure because it's basically unbreakable. Like, you just can't. It's just too solid. And now knight b6 and knight takes a4 is kind of a problem. Knight b6, queen d7. Two attackers on the a pawn. What are you going to do? I guess there's some tricks. If knight b6 and queen d7, then white has knight takes b3, taking advantage of the pin. But on knight b6, black is threatening to take. So how are you going to defend the pawn? If you go rook a1, well, then queen d7, there's no more pin. But then knight takes a4, knight b3 at the end, take on a4. There's this x-ray. Yeah, sharp stuff. Sharp stuff. Yeah, that's the good point. Now she has 100,000 reasons to go for the GM title. So hopefully she gets there. Maybe that's been a big motivation. Who knows? Hopefully that's a motivator for Alice as well. We need some more. We need some GMs on the team. We need like Crush, Yip, Lee. You know, some GMs. Okay, knight d2, knight d4. Knight d2. Now, what are we going to see from black? Knight d2. Interesting. Oh, Amazon found a deal for me. How thoughtful. That is just so sweet. When companies send you a notification saying they have like a deal for you. Like, it's just nice. It's just nice to be thought of, you know? It's nice to be remembered. '27th on the live ratings. Wow, nice. Okay, knight d2. Knight d2. What's Sam gonna do? Yeah, Amazon always looking out for the little guy. Very helpful company. So what does Mishra want? He wants this one? If knight e5, I was just looking at this move. Rook e5. If you take here, there is a check. Whoops. Queen c8 check. No, there's a check. And then a take. And then that's, oops, sorry. That's two knights. Probably that's not working for black. But he is looking at stuff like this. I was thinking about takes, and here. With the idea that if you like back up or something, okay, I guess you could take, but I was thinking like take, and e5 like this. And then you would get like the greatest position of all time, even though this would not be good for white, for black, I mean. So that doesn't work. There's also just this one. kind of reinforcing type of thing. Although take, actually, here, this doesn't work. Okay, but rook... Maybe this is... I don't know. I don't really believe in it. But otherwise, knight e4 is coming. Well, knight e4, bishop e5... Maybe knight e4 is not coming. So I don't know what the idea is exactly with this one. Like, what... What's his next move? Or is he just playing against black's ideas? Like knight b6, then he's gonna go knight e4. Bishop b4, queen e4, knight a4. I don't know. I don't know. Very complicated. Not clear at all, I would say. Oh, sorry. No, I was just chewing something real quick. Not really saying much. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Sam to like show me how to play the position. I'm like waiting. See ya, Tommy. Have a good one. Maybe queen d8, queen c7. Somehow feels like queen belongs on c7. Just trying to understand what the plan is. In an alternate universe, his name would be Stan Shankland, and I would be saying, "What's the plan, Stan?" over and over again. But I guess here I'm limited to what's the plan, Sam, which doesn't have as much jelly to it. Maybe h5, king h7 suggested. Maybe. So the drawback with h5 is you always give white the option to bring the knight back to f3 and g5. Might not be so bad, but I think that's what I would expect in this case. Knight b3 is not a threat, right? Because rook is defended. But that black does have to kind of step carefully here, not to allow any kind of knight to b3. Because that would be a problem. Hans versus Ray, they finished. Ray Robson won the game. He found a nice attack out of nowhere. Okay, so knight b6 played and knight e4. Quickly, the response from Mishra. Knight b6 was one of those moves that black wants to play to go after this one, but then it allows knight e4, whereas otherwise black would be able to like go bishop e5 and hit the queen and the knight. So he kind of allows knight e4, but I'm sure he anticipated. Now he has an option. He could take, kind of forcing rook takes, and then take on a4, winning a second pawn. But you don't really want to give up this bishop because it's such a nice piece. On the other hand, you don't want to allow knight f6 check. But yeah, key question here is, what says the manual, Samuel? Yeah, definitely. What's in the manual, Samuel? Check the manual. I don't know. I don't know if this is covered in the manual. But knight f6 check is a problem. I'll tell you that much right now. Knight f6 check is an issue. Oh, apparently not. Knight takes a4. Whoa, apparently knight takes c5 is also not a problem because these are going to recapture and go knight d3. Okay, double exchange sack from Sam the Man Stan Shankland, who, to be fair, is going to immediately get one exchange back if he wants it. And Mishra takes on c5. Wow, quickly too. So has he seen something, or because he's probably going to have to give back the exchange here, and it's a lot of pawns for black. But maybe it's only 2 pawns, so maybe it's not that clear. Also, it's not obvious that black is going knight d3, though it does look very, very scary for white now. Like knight d3 takes. If you take this pawn, e5 is hanging, h4 is dropping. So it's a lot of pawns. Yeah, interesting position. Let's flip it around. It just feels like more fun to see it from black's point of view. You're just controlling all the squares. All the squares. Yeah, he's dancing around. Looks kind of fun for black, I gotta say. Absolutely. Okay, rook e3. Now knight d3, he's pretty much committed to taking. And then does he have like a rook c8 check? King h7, and so what? So knight d3 takes. If you move your queen back, it's queen h4. So knight d3 takes, rook d1. Rook takes c4 maybe was possible. I'm not sure what was going on there. Because you want bishop c4, knight c6. Queen c7, take. Maybe black's still okay there. I think black's still alright. Paul can't figure out which side I'd rather have. Yeah, it's a complicated position. I'm feeling like I like black because it's hard to play with the rooks here. Like these rooks are just so clumsy. And Sam is like, he's not even rushing with knight d3. He's like wondering if he's got other options like a4, just like playing with the pieces. Because if you think about it, guys, I'm going to blow your mind right now with some chess metaphysics. Technically, like you guys might be thinking like, oh, white's a material because he has 2 rooks and black has 2 bishops. But another way to think about it is like white has 2 pieces and black has 2 pieces. And like, okay, yours are rooks and black's are bishops, but you know, who says that the rooks are necessarily better than the bishops? Like, that's just something you were taught, you know, in schools. But that could just be, you know, like false information. Like, these bishops are very strong, in fact. And black's position might be absolutely fine. So knight d3, okay, he does go knight d3. So he decides to get 1 rook back, because rooks are good. But now this position, I would think it's very tough for white. I mean, Fabi won the same exact like kind of situation against Chris Yu, although there he had less pawns. Here it seems like a better version for black. It's bishop on d5, just absolute monster. Just it's like hitting queen side, hitting king side. It's defending. It's like covering some squares here. You can't tell me it's not a strong bishop. And what does white do? Mishra down to 2 minutes. If you give check, then you're leaving this d pawn behind, and they have to make 5 more moves still before the time control. So critical moment, honestly. Not easy at all. Rook to d1 comes to mind, just to try to round up the pawn. But then you have to watch out. Like, yeah, a4, rook d3, a3, take, b2. So knight f3 goes this way. Offers Sam to win another pawn, bishop f3, bishop e5, but then he would be losing his 2 bishops. So knight f3. Black could play a4. Queen a4, probably take on f3. I feel like that would be extremely weak for white's king. King h7 is a move just to be like super safe. Man, not easy. Maybe queen b7. Covering c8. Pressuring here. Looking... Oh, queen b7 called. Wow. 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 Okay. Well, call me Sam. And name me Shanklin, because I just found the move. All right, queen b7. What's gonna happen next? I don't know. They're not calling me Mishra, that's for sure. I ain't no Mishra. Is now a4 is kind of a problem for white. Like trying to go a3, takes, b2, rook b1, bishop a2, just winning with brute force. Because on a4, queen takes a4, black takes on f3, and I think white's king would just be way too open there. That looks terrible for white. Bishop takes e5 coming, queen h3, etc. So rook to d1. Looking to pick up the pawn. Now on bishop f3, I think white just goes gf. Can Sam go a4? Take a3? Take b2? That would be winning. So a4. What's white doing? Because if you can't take this d pawn, you know, you're just like... Very tough position. You can also play like bishop e4 if he wants to just be very solid, but... But yeah, a4 might be better. I think these are FIDE ratings, Jeffrey. I believe. Yeah, Matt, I'm not sure he ever had a chance to take this one. I'm not sure, but I don't think that he did. Yeah, taking on f3 is a thought. a4 to me seems like a thought. So rook d3, a3 looks super strong. You only need to promote one pawn to win the game. IMO. In my O. So a4, let's see, queen a4, take, queen b3. To me, this looks very unpleasant for white. I could be wrong, but I feel like we're losing this guy, and then there's, maybe it's not super clear, but I feel like yeah, I feel like I would definitely take black here. a4, knight d2, then I think we're taking on g2. Like a couple of animals. And if f3, bishop h3, bishop comes out to f5, and white's king is just long-term weak. What happened with Chess Factor? I don't actually know. It's not my project. I just did some videos for them, so I have like no involvement. You let me know what happened to Chess Factor. you let me know. Okay, bishop takes f3. Interesting. So Sam just goes for the direct approach. Now white could take with the pawn. Going for the endgame would be kind of like what you want to do as white. But then I think black trades, takes on e5, rook takes d3. Then a4 maybe. Could be tough for white. Could be really tough for white. So yeah, it goes gf3. But that endgame looked really, really sus. And now what? Somehow I don't love this decision unless he has like a very clear-cut win here. Don't love this decision to give up the bit because that was a strong bishop. Like it's giving so much pressure, and the knight wasn't going anywhere anyway. We could have had a4 in. I don't know what was wrong with a4, but okay. It's gonna be a but okay for me. So now what do we want, Sam? Queen d5 or do we want a4? Technically, we could still play a4 here. And then queen a4, take on f3, we get the other line. Okay, queen b5. So he wants to have his cake and eat it as well, and then not have to count calories. So he's really asking for a lot. Queen e4, take, I guess, and then he's gonna go a4, take on b2. Maybe something kind of feels like, yeah, it wasn't the best he could have done. I don't know. Maybe he's still winning. I'm not sure. Feels like he had better. I could be totally wrong. But like queen e4, take, a4, rook d2. That endgame definitely looks nice for black. Let's move 39. I'm expecting this. And then if rook d3, bishop b2, that's good for black for sure. That's good for black because then you're keeping two connected passers on the queen side. And you got 3 pawns for the exchange. Very, very happy. But queen d3 after bishop e5, I'm less sure about. Well, let's see what we get. Other than bishop e5, what else is there? I guess you could start with queen e5, but you get kind of the same thing. a4 maybe? Queen d3, take, bishop e5, same thing. Okay, he takes on e5. Now I'm expecting queen takes d3. Definitely 2-result game for black. I think black is the only one that can hope to win here. You can always blunder, but assuming there's no terrible blunders, it should just be black playing for the win. And it could just be straight up winning. Could be 1-result game. Because still I'm unclear. Takes, a4. White goes rook d2. You can't sack on b2, but you can play h5, for example. And then bishop f6, bishop takes h4. Or you can put your king on f8. And then go a3, takes b2, rook d1, bishop f4, rook b1, bishop c1, a4, king e8. And it feels like that endgame's winning for black. Let's just put it on the board. So I'm thinking this. Threatening to take here. You got to go here, probably. Then king in. Let's say white goes somewhere. And now let's say a3. You got to take b2. There's still check and check. Okay, so let's say we did this smart. Let's say we go king e7. King e2, then here, take here. White has to go here. We go here. White, if white doesn't go there, we come in. But maybe here white's in time, actually. And here white would be holding. Okay, what I was going for was a position like this, which would also be losing for black. So what I was going for was a losing position. But I was hoping white's king wouldn't get in time. So, okay, so that's not really working. So king e7, king e2. Then I don't really see how black is winning this. Okay, here there's a funny move, bishop c3. So that's kind of... So that's kind of nice. I gotta say, that's kind of nice. We didn't have bishop b2 because we lose the b pawn. So this, I think, white should be pretty safe. Oh wait, hold on. So none of this happened. Queen takes d3. Sam played queen b4. Oh, So Sam is a dirty boy. He wants takes. He wants takes. He wants queen f4. So maybe there's some potential in that endgame. I'm not sure, but this is possibly a lot more annoying for white. Because now bishop takes b2 is a huge threat. If you lose, if you're down 2 pawns on the queen side, I mean, they're going to promote. No, had white gone king e1 in the line, there would have still been bishop c3 because of the pinito. Pinito. Pinned pieces can't be pushed, as Nimzovich famously wrote. Would have been a pinito. This move might be even more dangerous. I don't know. There's queen d8 check, rook d7, but is there any threat? Queen e8, it's a little bit slow. So maybe black has time for queen f4 and stuff. I'm not sure. Queen d8, king up, d7. Yeah, I don't know. Folks, look, I gotta run. I gotta get to the club, get ready for the recap. So unfortunately I won't be able to watch the rest of the game. I apologize. I just want to see what's going on in the women's section. Okay, Jennifer Yu, Irina Crush. Some very messy position. Not sure what's happening there. Oh, looks like Jennifer might be winning, actually. Just checking in, because rook f8, there's queen d5 check, rook f7, rook c8, or king h8, hg. So this is mate. This is mate. Jennifer beating Irina Crush, kind of a big result. And then, yeah, queen d5 check is going to end it. Recaps have been excellent. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dosidos. Glad you folks are enjoying it. It's hard to find time for everything, but I'm doing my best. I got more videos to make. My Portugal recap coming out soon, where I recap my whole tournament in Portugal, going through all my games, all the critical moments, key takeaways. That's coming out on YouTube in just a bit. This one looks over. That's mate in 2, and then that's mate in 3. Check, or mate in, that's mate in 1, and then rook f7, rook c8 check is mate in 2. Oh, they just made move 40, but I think she's gonna resign. And then Tatev is up a piece against Talia for 2 pawns, but her extra piece is on a5 and only controlling 3 squares. So bit unclear, and there's a bishop e4 in the position. So I don't know what's going on here. King f6 or bishop e4. I don't know what's happening here. Anyway, folks, I gotta run. We'll raid St. Louis. Thanks for sticking around. See you all tomorrow for round 8 US Champs coverage. It's been fun. Thanks for checking out the dojo. Don't forget to join the Discord if you haven't already. Link down below. You can hang out, talk chess improvement, get book suggestions, get feedback on your games, all kinds of stuff.